Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. So, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job is in danger at Manchester United, reflecting on our poor start to the season. We have lost 3 games in the Premier League at Old Trafford this season. And it's our worst start at Old Trafford in around 50 years. We have not yet won at Old Trafford this season in the Premier League, so our home form is a worry. And we are sitting 15th in the Premier League, so we are near the relegation zone. Now, Mauricio Pochettino is waiting for the Manchester United job. Now, Mauricio Pochettino has been on Monday Night Football and he says that he misses football and he's ready to return to management. And we've been in for Mauricio Pochettino for a while. Don't forget, Mauricio Pochettino was the favourite to take over at Manchester United after we sacked Jose Mourinho. And he was also linked with the managerial role at Man United before Solsjaer got the job permanently in March last year. Now, it said the other week that Mauricio Pochettino was in talks with Zenit St. Petersburg. He's also been linked with the Real Madrid job before. Manchester City have also been in for him. At one point, Newcastle were interested in him. Now, I think Mauricio Pochettino is a much better manager than Solskjaer. Mauricio Pochettino is well proven in the Premier League. He's also dealt with top players. Now, my only element of concern about Pochettino is that he's not won anything in terms of silverware. Pochettino did endure 5.5 years with Tottenham. Analysing the vast majority of his tenure, Tottenham were competing in and out of the top 4. But last year, he guided Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final. And he must have spent over £200 million in the 5.5 years he was at Tottenham. Before he was at Tottenham, he was at Southampton. He enjoyed a short tenure with Southampton, but he did guide Southampton to their highest ever finish in the Premier League. And before he was at Southampton, he was at Espanyol. So far, he's managed 3 clubs in his managerial career. Pochettino has been managerless now for like a year. If we do appoint Mauricio Pochettino in, he will be our 5th permanent manager since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. It also does mention that we've been looking at Massimiliano Allegri as an alternative to him. Massimiliano Allegri is the former Juventus manager. But yeah, I do believe that Ole Gunnar Solsjaer is going to get sacked from the football club. Because he's back under serious pressure now. Because we recently lost to Arsenal by 1-0. That was Arsenal's first win at Old Trafford in the Premier League since 2006. That's 14 years. And obviously that game against Arsenal was Ole's 100th game as Manchester United manager. And like I said to you on my recent video, is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out of his depth at Man United? Because there's no philosophy, there's no system. His team selections are poor. We've got a poor ownership. You know what I mean? Hell of a lot of problems at Man United. And nothing's changed at Manchester United, because in the last 7 years or so, we've been very, very inconsistent, haven't we? But like I've said to you, not all of the blame stems from Solsjaer. Obviously, there's players that have got to take responsibility. Obviously, you can put a lot of the blame on the board. Obviously, reflecting how poor our recruitment policy's been, and we've also overpaid for players in recent years. In the summer transfer window, Ollie wasn't backed enough because we missed out on all of his priority targets, and we missed out on a lot of targets in general. And Solskjaer revealed quite a few times during the summer transfer window that he was very infuriated with the board. Woodward's been at the football club since 2012, and the Glazers have been at the football club since 2005. Matt Judge, he's been at the football club now around 7 years or so, and he's accountable for some of the failure of transfers. And Matt Judge has been a transfer negotiator at Man United since like 2016, hasn't he? But I think the club have put Solskjaer in a position that he should not be in. And we did make a mistake by giving him the job permanently. The main explanation we give him the job permanently, though, reflects on what he did in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. Obviously, Solskjaer hasn't got a proven pedigree as a manager, has he? Manchester United is the 3rd club in his managerial career. Before he was with us, he was at Mould. He won a few Norwegian titles with Mould. And before he was at Mould, he was at Cardiff. Ollie enjoyed a very short tenure with Cardiff. The main explanation he got sacked from Cardiff is because he ended up getting Cardiff relegated, didn't he? Solskjaer has been at Manchester United now for almost 2 years. So he's been Man United manager for around 22 months. And he's been permanent Manchester United manager for around 19 months. And he has got a contract with the football club until 2022. Obviously, we'll have to pay to sack Solskjaer. I think it said quite a few weeks ago it cost the club around £4 million to sack him. But I want him to succeed as Manchester United manager, but obviously he isn't gonna, because I love him a lot. He's a club legend. He was a great player for the football club for 11 years. He flourished under Sir Alex Ferguson's guidance, and this is Ollie's 2nd season at the club, isn't it? And I said, didn't I, at the start of this season, that he's obviously got to exceed his expectations. And I said to you, what would represent a good season for Man United this season? That would be to finish in the top 4, top 2 or top 3 if necessary, and win a trophy. And obviously that's not going to happen the way things are going at the moment. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, I have taken positives from his tenure. It's not all negativity regarding Solskjaer, is it? Like I said, he showed a lot of tactical flexibility in a lot of the big games. Obviously Ollie's beaten Julian Nagelsmann. He's also beaten Thomas Tuchel. Last season he beaten Pep Guardiola 3 times. He also beat Frank Lampard 3 times. And he's beaten obviously Jose Mourinho once. And this is one of the reasons why I expected Man United to beat Arsenal. I also credit Ollie for what he did last season, because last season he got us to 3 semi-finals. He also got us qualification for the Champions League, and he also got us 3rd, and that's the 2nd highest we've finished since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. He has made some good signings since he got appointed in as Manchester United manager. They haven't been all good signings, obviously. He's spent over £200 million at the club, and Ollie's enjoyed around 4 transfer windows, hasn't he? We've also seen a lot of players depart the club since he came in. Obviously, we're going to offload more players next year, and we'll be looking to make a couple of more signings next year because more signings are needed at Man United. So it's good that we're making plans for next year. And we've also had some good periods under the Ole Gunnar Solsjaer era. And I also like the way that he has promoted the youth. So yeah, they are the positives you can take. But like I said, in the last 7 years or so, Manchester United have been playing catch-up. Like I said, we've had different managers with different philosophies. We've sacked 3 managers since the Sir Alex Ferguson era, and that was obviously David Moyes. He endured 8 or 9 months at the club. We sacked Louis van Gaal. He endured 2 years at the club, but he did win the FA Cup. And we sacked Jose Mourinho after 2.5 years. He won the Europa League, the League Cup and the Community Shield in his first season. So Ollie's our 4th permanent manager since the Ferguson era. We've obviously recruited over 30 odd players in since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. And we spent close to the £1 billion range on players. We've also got players on big contracts at the football club. Obviously, we haven't won the Premier League since 2013. So last time we won it was in Ferguson's last season. You know, we haven't won it now for over 7 years or so. You know what I mean? Like I've said to you on my recent videos, Ole is inheriting a lot of players from the Jose Mourinho era. Still a few players from the Louis van Gaal era. And still one player from the Moyes era. I think now there's only a couple of players here from the Sir Alex Ferguson era, isn't there? I said to you as well, didn't I, it'd be very beneficial if Manchester United could get a director of footballing, because that's one of the structural changes that we need at the football club, isn't it? And we've been in the process of trying to get a director of footballing since like the Jose Mourinho era, haven't we? And before there was quite a few former Manchester United players linked with that director's role. It said the other week we was interested in hiring Luis Campos in. You know. But yeah. So Manchester United's next game is Istanbul Başakşehir in the Champions League. That's our next game in the group. Game we should be winning. To be fair, we've enjoyed a fantastic start to our Champions League campaign, because we've obviously had back-to-back wins. We've beaten PSG. And we also beaten RB Leipzig. I'm convinced we'll get to the knockout stages of the competition. And obviously, you know, we are into the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup. By the way, our next league game is Everton. And that's also going to be another tough game for Manchester United, isn't it? Now, since Ole Gunnar Solsjaer got appointed in as Man United manager, he has gone a lot with the 4-2-3-1 formation. But like I've said before, the 4-2-3-1 formation doesn't really seem to suit our standards. A few times he's gone with that 4-3-3 formation. A few times he's gone with the 3-5-2. I've said before we look more effective with 3 at the back. I think he's gone with a 5-3-2 before. He's gone with that 4-1-2-1-2, hasn't he? Obviously, a lot of United fans have been saying, you know, we need to play a diamond, don't we? Now, we've got a few players out with injury, as you all know. Obviously, Phil Jones, he's been injured and he's had an operation, like Solskjaer confirmed prior to the Arsenal game. But Solskjaer says he could still play a part this year, probably after Christmas maybe. Obviously, Eric Bailly, he's out with a muscle injury for, a few weeks. Solskjaer confirmed this the other week. And that's my element of concern about Eric Bailly. He's too injury prone. I think they're the only 2 injuries we've got. Obviously, Tellez has recently had coronavirus. Solskjaer did confirm though that he's obviously got he had no symptoms. Telles didn't play any part against Arsenal, was absent from the squad against Leipzig and didn't play any part against Chelsea. To be fair though, I think Telles is going to be a very, very good signing for Manchester United. Didn't we get him for like, was it 15 million euros with add-ons included, and Telles signed a 4-year contract with the club with an option of a further year. He did well though on his debut against PSG. Lingard, he's also been out with injury, hasn't he, as well? Yeah, he's another player injured, sorry, I forgot to mention. Anthony Martial, he's now back. He's served his 3-match suspension. Martial, don't forget, did get sent off in our 6-1 defeat to Tottenham. He shouldn't have been sent off though. Martial's enjoyed around 5 years or so at the football club, hasn't he? He did well last season under Ole, and he did well in his debut season under the Louis van Gaal era, didn't he? By the way, Romero's been back in training, hasn't he? Like Ole confirmed. But yeah, I think for the Istanbul Başakşehir game, Solsjaer will obviously be making some changes from the 1-0 defeat to Arsenal. Now, Donny van de Beek, he isn't getting enough chances at Manchester United, is he? Now, he did come on in the game against Arsenal, didn't he? But he didn't start, and I wanted him to start, and Donny van de Beek has not yet made his full Premier League debut for the football club. Donny van de Beek started against RB Leipzig though, didn't he? And that was his first start in the Champions League, and he did well, you know, he was playing in that number 10 role. You know, Solskjaer was talking about Donny van de Beek prior to the Leipzig game, saying that, you know, he's going to be an important player and he's going to play a big part this year. And he responded to the criticism of the use of Donny van de Beek. And he was talking about why Donny van de Beek hasn't been playing much, because he wants him to adapt his surroundings, and obviously Solskjaer's been trying to find his best position, because he did mention that he can play in like 3 different roles, but he's actually predominantly a box-to-box midfielder. That's where he played a lot when he was at Ajax. We paid £40 million for Donny van de Beek. He obviously signed a 5-year contract with the club with an option of a further year, and currently wears that number 34 shirt. But there's a few people that don't think he's wanted at the football club, you know. You know, I'd probably select Donny van de Beek over Paul Pogba, if I'm going to be honest with you. You know, and as for Paul Pogba, he was very, very poor against Arsenal. Obviously, he did start the game. There'll be a lot of Manchester United fans now criticising Pogba and saying that, you know, he should be dropped. That was his first start in the league for actually a while, wasn't it, Paul Pogba's? Paul Pogba did start in the game against RB Leipzig, didn't he? He was obviously, you know, playing in more of an advanced role. By the way, like I updated you earlier on, Paul Pogba has apologised for the stupid mistake he made in the 1-0 defeat to Arsenal. You know, Paul Pogba was the one that conceded the penalty, because Paul Pogba did foul Hector Bellerin. So yeah, it did cost us the game. Obviously, you know, Aubameyang had scored the penalty. And I think there'll be a lot of Manchester United fans now saying that we've got to get rid of Paul Pogba next year. I think he'll probably leave next summer. We can cash in for Paul Pogba next summer though, can't we? Because the other week we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract. So that keeps him at the club until 2022, when Fabrizio Romano had confirmed this. And it has been confirmed that there has been no talks over getting Paul Pogba a new long-term contract at the football club, because we warned him the other week, we will not break our wage structure to keep him at Old Trafford, so we're not willing to pay him what we paid Alexis Sanchez. Because we paid Sanchez, was it around 400 grand a week, potentially rise up to £500,000 a week based on the image rights and the bonuses and all of that. Now, don't forget, quite a few weeks ago, Paul Pogba made an admission saying that one day his dream is to join Real Madrid. And he was talking a lot about Real Madrid and Zinedine Zidane last year. And he said that he wanted to leave Manchester United because he was seeking for a new challenge. There's obviously been rumours of Paul Pogba going back to Juventus because he did enjoy 4 good years with Juventus. The vast majority of his performances at Man United have been totally comparison. And also Barcelona have been interested, PSG have been interested before. You know, Paul Pogba's in his 5th season at Manchester United since he rejoined from Juventus, and he has made over 100 appearances for the club in all competitions as Paul Pogba. And obviously for the vast majority of last season, didn't really have a perception on him because he was out with that ankle injury. Just need to shake my legs right there a minute. God. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, pins and needles. But yeah, he had that ankle injury and he sustained a few injuries as a Manchester United player. But he's our most expensive signing at the moment because we paid 89 million for Paul Pogba. Well, we won't get more than the 89 million that we paid for him if he does leave the club next summer. You know, could he even possibly leave the football club in January? Don't forget, we was critical of Paul Pogba's agent at the turn of the year. Main explanation is because he publicly criticised Solsjaer and Manchester United, didn't he? And obviously swap deals have been on the agenda before. Now, Bruno Fernandes, he wasn't that good against Arsenal. He was very, very quiet. He's had a few games where he's looked off the pace, but I think the vast majority of his games he has been consistent as Bruno Fernandes. Don't forget, Bruno Fernandes was recently talking about Paul Pogba. This was prior to the Arsenal game. And he insists that he can form an effective partnership with Paul Pogba. And he and Paul Pogba have got a good relationship on and off the pitch. And they both speak Italian to each other and all of that. So Bruno Fernandes disagreed with Jamie Carragher over the Paul Pogba partnership, because there has been debates on whether they can actually, you know, play in the same team. Obviously, you know, we haven't seen Pogba, Fernandes and Van der Beek all play yet in the same team. You know, do you even think they can? But yeah, Bruno Fernandes has enjoyed, around 9 months at Man United, is it? The vast majority of his goals have come from the penalty spot, Bruno Fernandes is. You know, he won, Premier League Player of the Month around 3 times last season. He's obviously won some Busby Player of the Year award. And I think when we signed Bruno Fernandes, he signed, was it a 5-year contract at the football club, didn't he? Now, Marcus Rashford, I think he's really improved under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era, and I think Rashford is the foreseeable future for Man United. You know, Rashford wasn't that good against Arsenal. He wasn't so bad in the first half, was he? But Rashford did score a hat-trick against RB Leipzig. He became the second Manchester United player to score a hat-trick as a substitute. And he also scored the late winner in Paris, and he became... And it was the second time that Rashford had done that against Paris, wasn't it? It was recently Rashford's birthday. He's now 23 years of age. Rashford's been at the football club now over 15 years. You know, do you prefer Rashford up top or do you prefer him out wide? I probably prefer him out wide. Didn't really look good up top against Arsenal, did he? So maybe Solskjaer will put him back out wide, won't he? I do like Mason Greenwood a lot. You know, Greenwood can play on the right and he can also play central. I think he was playing more centrally against RB Leipzig, wasn't he, Mason Greenwood? Mason Greenwood had a very, very good chance though, didn't he, in the Arsenal game, but it was obviously denied by Leno. He scored in the Leipzig game. That was his first Champions League goal for Man United. Was it at the start of the season? We had a few issues with Mason Greenwood. Because he was getting dropped in the England squad a few times. But don't forget, at the start of the season, it confirmed that would give Mason Greenwood that number 11. He's the 4th Manchester United player to wear that number 11 shirt. And obviously you've got Juan Mata, who's a good player. he's been playing a lot recently. You know, he didn't play against Arsenal. I told you I wasn't expecting to start against Arsenal. There was rumours saying he could have started, though, against Arsenal. Prior to the Arsenal game, he'd started our last 2 league games at Juan Mata, but he's done well in the games he's played in this season as Mata, because he did well in both our Carabao Cup games against Luton and Brighton. He also did well in the Newcastle game, didn't he? Juan Mata's enjoyed around 6 years at the football club, something like that. Paid around 37.1 million for him from Chelsea back in 2014. Juan Mata's got 50 goals for the club in all competitions. But Juan Mata has now lost that yard of pace because he is in his 30s. But when he plays, he does make an impact, doesn't he? Daniel James, he didn't play any part against Arsenal. I'm glad, you know, to be honest with you. Daniel James hasn't been that good this season, you know, the games that he has played in. He was good in a lot of his games last season, though, to be fair, Daniel James. You know, we paid around £18 million for Daniel James from Swansea last year. He's actually now being linked to a move to Leeds. At one point, Leeds came very, very close to getting him. Now, obviously, Fred, he's not a bad player, but he's not world class. I thought he was poor against Arsenal, gave the ball away far too many times, but in his last four games prior to the Arsenal one, he really, really impressed me, did Fred. He's been playing regularly recently, you know, that game against Arsenal was his 5th start in a row for Man United, you know, Fred's been subjected to transfer speculation before, hasn't he? But he did confirm he wants to stay at Man United and he wants to be an essential player. Paid big money for Fred. We paid 52 million for him from Shakhtar Donetsk, and Fred has got a contract with the football club until 2023. But I still think he's improved under the Ole Gunnar Solsjaer era. As for McTominay, I think he's good, but he's not world class. Is he good enough to emulate into a world class midfielder? You know, McTominay's been part of the club for several years, hasn't he? But he wasn't good against Arsenal. But I thought he was good in the games against PSG. And he wasn't so bad against RP Leipzig either. And in them game, you know, I think they've built a pretty good partnership of McTominay and Fred, to be honest with you. You know, and obviously they've been playing well. Don't forget, was it just after the first lockdown, McTominay signed a 5-year contract on Man United, didn't he? So he committed his future at the club. Nemanja Matic, obviously, I've got an element of concerns about him because obviously he's aging up and he's always been a slow player as Matic, and he's improved under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. You know, he wasn't bad against Leipzig. Obviously had some good games towards the end of last season. Matic has endured over 3 years now at Man United. We paid £40 million for him from Chelsea back in 2017. And he signed, was it a 3-year deal at the start of the season, the Nemanja Matic. But he has lost his place in the team, like I mentioned, as Matic, he has. Luke Shaw, he's improved under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. You know, my element of concerns about Luke Shaw, he's too injury prone. Obviously, he's no longer now first choice left back following the arrival of Tellez, is he? Obviously, you can put Luke Shaw as a left centre half as well, like we've done 1 or 2 times. Well, in the PSG game, I think he was playing as a left centre half as Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw's enjoyed a good 6 years or so at the football club. Harry Maguire, not world class, but I think he's improved recently. He weren't brilliant against Arsenal, but he made some heady clearances and he had that good chance for us. Don't forget, Harry Maguire had early season troubles, didn't he? Because he had a few knocks and he got sent off in England's 1-0 defeat to Denmark, and he had that incident in Greece the other month. As it stands at the moment, Harry Maguire is the most expensive centre-half in the world because we got him in a deal worth £80 million. We definitely overpaid for him. Victor Lindelof, definitely not on Harry Maguire's level. I think we'll probably keep him next year, to be fair. See how he goes. He's rejuvenated himself recently. At times, you know, Lindelof can make good interventions. He can get forward well. But there's other times where he's lacking that composure, makes too many mistakes, and I think he's had a lot of bad games as a Man United player. Lindelof's enjoyed around 3 years or so at the football club, hasn't he? And we paid around 31 million for him from Benfica back in 2017. Axel Tuanzebe, I think he needs to get more chances. I wanted Tuanzebe to play yesterday against Arsenal. Tuanzebe really impressed me against PSG, and that was his first start for Man United in 10 months. I hopefully can remain injury-free because Axel Tuanzebe has sustained quite a few injuries. Wan Bissaka's really impressed me. He wasn't good against Arsenal, but in the 4 games prior to that, Wan Bissaka really impressed me. And he scored his first Manchester United goal against Newcastle. And the guy has done well recently, made some good saves, but didn't really have much to do in the Arsenal game. This season is David De Gea's 10th season at the football club. So he has been a long servant. And, you know, Edison Cavani, he's impressed me so far. Didn't start against Arsenal, but came on. He's not yet made his full Premier League debut for the club, Edison Cavani. But he did well when he came on against Leipzig. He did well when he came on against Chelsea. You know, he almost scored with his first touch. We got him on a free transfer, Cavani, but we're paying him around 220 grand a week. So that's a substantial amount. And Cavani did sign a 2-year contract with the football club, didn't he? Odin Igalo, I think he'll leave in January when his loan expires with the club. Obviously, he doesn't get in the team now, does he? Does Igalo. But he was our top goal scorer in the FA Cup last season. So, yeah. So, anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always. And take care. God bless. See you all again very soon.